Hi all, I wanted to post a quick update video. I posted frequently asked questions, and so I'm going to read through the document. So in case you didn't want to read it yourself, you can just have me read it. I posted it here and also on today's post. So this answers a lot of questions I've gotten, and I think is just a good place to always look. So if you're curious about any questions, I'll always update and include in the daily post if I update this document and repost it, but you can always find the answers here. So if you have a question that you think might be like a simple question that I might have answered, it might be in this document. So frequently asked questions. When is the create task due? Our in-class deadline is Friday, May 22nd. The official deadline for both the explore task, which is we've done, and the create task is the 26th. I say in class by the 22nd to make sure that the site won't crash. So many people uploading, that tends to happen. And just to give wiggle room in case something goes wrong, like you have technical issues recording the video later, you have some kind of technical issue. That way we can like hustle over the weekend to get it done. So I am going to try to make sure as many people as possible can get it turned in by Friday, May 22nd. What do we actually need to submit? These are the official things. You can always check your digital portfolio if you want. That's at digitalportfolio.collegeboard.org. Yeah. But it'll have three parts. It'll have a place for a PDF of our completed code. We'll generate that PDF together. I'll have a tutorial later, but that's like a final step done like one of these days. The completed create task template, answering the 4 questions, like purpose, what does your code do? Basically progress, what did you build first? What was your process? And what were some issues you had? Talking about algorithms, that basically just means like, how did you use functions to split up the work? So in Color Sleuth, we had a function, check correct, that it was designed to see if you click the right button. And that check correct function used other functions. It also made use of check game over. It made use of switch player. So you divided up the tasks into different chunks. I'll talk about that a lot more next week because that's the focus of next week's coding, is to make sure we have code that meets the requirements. This week is just fleshing out our idea and getting as much like raw code in there as we can before we fix it up next week. And then we need a video of our app working. Again, that's one of the last things we do on one of these days. Using the app Screencastify. Let me see if I can. It might. I don't want to click that actually. It might crash OBS. This is where you submit it. Where do we actually complete the code? This is the series of steps in Code Studio. The unit is called Create AP Performance Task Prep. It is lesson 3 and in number 2. So we do that there. Complete the task. If you do it by doing it here, I can check your progress, and it makes it really easy for me to keep you up to date. I don't need to pester you. I can actually just see it. This is something a few people raised to me today because eagle-eyed viewers can see that it actually says you can work with a partner. It says we can work with a partner. Can we work with a partner? Yes, you can. A few people do every year. I think last year we had 3 pairs out of 63 kids. It's harder with the quarantine, but yeah, absolutely. If you're already you're close, you're friends in the class, you talk all the time already, sure. Be careful. It's any group project, just be careful. The pitfalls, but you can. Here are the requirements. You both need to fully complete the project. So it's not like, oh, my code is in, Steven's code studio. That's why mine's blank. No, 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 no. You don't get away that easily. You both have to have a fully working project. You both have to record your own version of the code working. Everything has to come from you for this final thing. You upload the PDF of your code. So if I'm checking in at the end of this week and it says student hasn't started this level yet, oh boy. Fill in the blank for what my threat's going to be. Similar to the Unit 3 project, you need to comment on what you did, but instead say something like, I did this and my partner did this. There are not technically supposed to be any names in this. Not a big deal, but don't say like Steven did this, Terry did this. Say instead like, I did this, my partner did that. Your written responses have to be entirely different. They just have to be different. It can't look like one person sent it in an email to another. That's plagiarism. That's a 0. That I mark as plagiarism. I will let you know if I think it's plagiarism. I won't wildcard mark it as plagiarism. But that's like my only job in this, technically, is just making sure nothing's plagiarized. That's why I can get a little antsy and write passive-aggressive comments on some people's. I did today. If you made a lot of progress, I like Googled to see if you copied from another project. It's not because I don't trust you. It's my only job for the College Board. It's my legal requirement to do that. So, sorry. Your work should be divided up equally. Equal does not mean one person in design mode, like one person does the design, the other person does the coding. No, that's not equal at all. You have to split the coding. That's the hard part. Design is like the fun. It's like the fun part. And then the coding is like the go underneath the hood and making it actually work. I mean, I think that's fun too, but it's certainly the harder part is the coding. So let me know if you're working with a partner. Both people have to write their own code, as I said, just to stress. How am I tracking our progress? I have a doc, create task tracking. I'm not going to open it because I started to fill it out. But I have a doc that I have every student's name, and I use your Google question answers, and I use the just checking on your progress to fill it in. So far I have filled in your idea, and by now, like I'm recording this in the evening on Tuesday, have you started yet? If you haven't started yet, I'm not worried yet, but I'm like starting to get a red flag to like, maybe I should check in with you to make sure you know where to find the stuff to do it. And then there are some benchmarks that I'm looking for. This corresponds with each day's goals, basically. Have you finished a draft of design mode? That should basically be done today, the end of Wednesday, 5/6. By the end of the week, you should have all your different on-event blocks figured out. So like, these are the things that I'm going to be interacting with. Maybe you have a little bit of code done in there too. But like, that way it gives you a sense of calm. Like, okay, no matter what, I mean, I could add it later, but I have, these 5 buttons I have to work with. I have, XYZ number, that doesn't make sense. Like, so many different things I'm interacting with, and that's it. And that's all I need to deal with, and anything else, don't worry about it. It helps if you can like just define, I'm done. Once I finish these 5 events, I have working code. This is probably the toughest, but do you have like functions created and ready to go? I'll be doing an update video for Monday. I do still want to have, I still want to have a live class. I think it's important next Monday. So the goal this week will be getting functions working. And so the live class on Monday will be talking through what does that look like? What's a good function? What's not a good function? That kind of thing. And then by the end of next week, you should have enough working code for a 1-minute video. This gives us plenty of time to record responses. I want to stress, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't even have to fully work. Just, do you have enough code to show 1 minute of video? That's it. That's all we're asking. Enough for a 1 minute demo. Game demos like don't work half the time, you know? Like they're so buggy. It's fine. Don't hold yourself to a higher standard than EA games. That's not saying much, but ayo. Can I copy the code from Clicker Game, Color Sleuth Game, any other class project and just change it slightly for the project? No! No. That's plagiarism. Sorry. You have to build it from nothing, right? You have to kind of rebuild it from scratch. But you can use in-class assignments as reference for how variables, functions, if statements work. That's why we do practice. It's a really fine line. I know so on the one hand, it sounds like I'm saying, so I have to just rebuild it, but I can just have it open another tab. Yes, but like it shouldn't be the same thing. You should know enough about you should know enough about the project to know what you should pick to recreate and what you don't need. So like if I'm looking at a clicker game and I see that you called something Apple, that's a red flag to me. Because that means you didn't actually understand what was going on. You just copied absolutely directly that game. But if I see similar code, but only because that's how clicker games work, and you're doing something different with time or something, you know, special that's like unique and different and your own twist, okay, we're okay. You know, I'm looking at them. If I start to get worried, I'll let you know. How can I get help? Many of you have already made use of this, and you know, I love you all for it, and keep it up. How can I get help on this assignment? Send me Google chat messages, especially during school day hours. I tend to have meetings after school. I'm working on the fall schedule right now, which takes up a lot of my time, and feels like an exercise in futility because I don't even know what our school situation will look like in the fall, but it's my job. So I get really busy at the end of the day, but during the day I'm responsive, like really responsive to chat messages. And then, or just email me if it's a bigger question, and we can set up like a Google Meet call. It's not a big deal. It's very easy. And then many people, I would say most, if I notice that some people are just totally fine from what I can read, I may not bother with the one-on-one. But I would like to check in with people, just to hear you talk about your code, show me it, 10 minutes. And then what should each day look like? This video has gone on too long. I'm expecting each person to work 30 minutes per day on the project. I strongly recommend setting a timer on like your phone and putting it aside and everything else aside during this time, just so you can focus in. Doesn't have to be 30 minutes. It can be periods of 15 minutes with a break in between. It can be less, you know, it can be whatever you need and keeps your focus, but just to make sure you at least get something. Some days you're not gonna have time. You know, maybe you got a big test for another class you need to prepare for. Some days you'll have more time. I expect on average 30 minutes per day, per weekday. That's how I've timed it out to make sure we have enough time, and then I've given you enough. Keep asking questions and I'll keep updating the doc. I cut my thumb when I was cooking earlier today. Go get him. That's all. Bye.